Hi, I've got something you'll be interested in. Those performance upgrades we discussed after the last race. They're on the car and the data looks promising. Take a look at the details.
More F1 2016. Back to Austria, where we get our fuel efficiency upgrade that we got at the end of the last part. Oh, I'm glad to be on a track that I actually enjoy, because, as I mentioned a few times last time, Baku sucks. But, yeah, we're in Austria. Only one car, ironically Red Bull, around the Red Bull ring, have bought an upgrade to their downforce. So Red Bull stretching their legs as the best team on the grid while we're trying to catch up to Manor, because we're still second worst, but we have the Gulf of Mexico between ourselves and Sauber. So that's absolutely fine. This one last weekend was another good one for us in the Renault car. That's all I can really compare it to, because we got a double podium. Myself in third and Magnussen in second. Or was it? No, we were third and Magnussen was second. I'm fairly confident that's the way around it worked. Regardless, we're going to be jumping into qualifying. Still running that new camera angle that I ran in Baku, because, hell, I enjoyed it that much. That was probably the best part about that whole weekend, is the fact that I ran a new camera. This is our quali lap. This is the first lap, and you know what? This is a completely unedited first quali lap, because this was me sort of just putting the feelers out there. Now, granted, we have to run the ultra softs, because our car is, by comparison to everyone else, really goddamn slow. So we need to be running the ultra softs to try and get out of the session. And luckily, Raikkonen pulled himself out of the pit lane just as we were doing it. So I don't know how much we got, but we may have got like a brief slipstream effect from him. So that would have buffed our lap time just a little bit, breaking just after the 100-meter board. I love Austria on low fuel, fresh tyres. It's such a flowing circuit. Not a lot of people like it, and I will admit, some of the races since its return to the calendar, have not been great. But last year's one, where the Mercedes decided to drive into each other, was pretty damn decent in my opinion. But, no, good circuit. Good circuit. Really enjoyed to drive it. And it's over in a flash. We've already done a minute and we're coming up to the penultimate corner. Now braking at about 70 metres. Chuck it in as fast as you can. Hope it sticks. Do it again with the final corner. I felt a little bit cautious going in that time. Rosberg's currently fastest on a 107.4. We do a 109.5 and we're only faster than Ericsson. So, yeah, you're going to see us tumble down the timesheet as I sort of fast forward the time, and Grosjean showing the proper pace of the car, because he's 0.6 of a second faster than me. 0.6. So I tried to go out and find some time in the depth of the session where the track grip was maybe a little bit higher, and we just get it completely wrong going through the final few corners. I mean, look at it. It wasn't pretty. It was not pretty, but it did get us up to 16th. My apologies, that was my third lap, so that was again a further improvement. But then, even then, I got back to the garage and we're in 17th. Danny Kvyat in the Toro Rosso, pipping us. So, yeah, out in Q1. Definitely not ideal. In fact, Nico Rosberg, I don't know if you saw it there briefly flash, was the fastest in Q1. Don't know how that's going to translate to the grid, but, yeah, Austria. Quick cut into the race, because why the hell not, right? Daniel Ricciardo back on pole, which is kind of exactly what I was going to go on to say, you know, talk about the circuit as it were. But Danny Rick back on pole position after a nightmare of a time out in Baku, where I don't know, you know, what sort of points he got there. But there's our strategy. We're going to start on the soft tyres. We could look to stretch them out and go on a one-stop to the super softs, or we can convert to a two-stop, run super soft and ultra soft. But, yeah, Austria's an interesting one. We get maybe an opportunity into turn 1. It's more going to be turn 2, our overtaking opportunities that we're actually going to be seeing here. And I don't know how to feel about this one. Like, I love the circuit, but like last year our tyres just got absolutely shredded. But now we build to those 5 red lights. And we're underway. Not as much of a hold as we felt in Baku. It's a decent start by everyone down the back here. A few guys jostling for position. We're going to try and slide it down the inside if we can. Gain a position on Science. We're looking very careful. Yellow flags already into turn 1. We've got a Red Bull. Daniel Ricciardo is facing backwards. Hamilton and Bottas are on the grass. There's a yellow flag. Illegal overtakes. We're going to try and cut through the field as much as we can. We had an illegal overtake on Alonso that we had to give back, and Science slipped his way back through. We're going to get about 1,000,001 replays of this because I need to find out what actually happened. So Max Verstappen jumped Ricciardo off the line, and he's on the inside into turn 1. And the Red Bulls have made contact. They've made 2 times of contact, and Daniel Ricciardo's spinning car is what hit Bottas and Hamilton. That's caused the Renault of Palmer to be stuck. There's Perez. There's us fighting our way through. Oh, that's not a good incident. And I think Ricciardo's... Is he actually out the race? So, we've had the Red Bulls run into each other at the Red Bull ring of all places. So, here we go. On board with Ricciardo. There's Verstappen. Pulls across from the right. He's got the inside line. He comes across... don't know. That was just... Oh, my goodness. That seemed almost, you know, just like a little tap. It was more the secondary one that appeared to put him all out of position. And he's still in the race. And, oh, my God, it's Nasser. Nasser just came flying through and has whacked his suspension, and that's put him out the race. Now we're going to see it from Lewis Hamilton's point of view. Absolutely mullers the Ferrari off the start line. I think that was Raikkonen. He's up the inside of Rosberg, and it's just, yeah, so they tap Ricciardo. Oh, no, okay, so they tap. Ricciardo was spinning, and then he tapped his teammate again, and you can see that Hamilton was the loser. He then hit Bottas, who then gets hit by a Force India. There we go, on our way through. Hamilton's now way down the order, missing a front wing, so that's not exactly ideal for the Mercedes driver, and we're now going to see it on board from Valtteri Bottas' point of view, who absolutely, again, just destroys both Ferraris off the line, so he's already up into P5, and you're going to see it, so they tap, and then Daniel Ricciardo goes round. Oh, he was unfortunate. Ricciardo looked like he was on his way over. Bottas, if he had managed to avoid that incident, would have gained a lot of time, but he's not as much in a bad position as Hamilton. But still definitely not ideal. But Daniel Ricciardo is now out of the Grand Prix. So he, having gained 125 points in the first couple of rounds of the races, has only got 8 points in 4 rounds. Ugh. That's not good for Red Bull. Anyway, we now head into turn 2. Perez appears to be holding the field up just a little bit. So Perez must have been the Force India that ran into Lewis Hamilton. He's clearly going to be carrying some sort of damage there. As we now head down towards turn 3. We're just too far back from Carlos Sainz to be thinking about a move. But the thing is with Austria, like, if you hook it up around Austria, you can just follow a car for a whole lap and set up moves. You can see a bunch of cars pouring into the pit lanes. Grosjean looks to have been affected. You know, he clearly got a raw end of the deal at the end of the lap. But here we go. We're in the slipstream of Carlos Sainz here. We're not gaining that much, but can we be brave on the brakes into the corner? Yes, we can. Everyone brakes in a straight line. We get Sainz, Alonso... Kvyat's going to get us on acceleration due to a better exit, and Alonso's going to pull past us. Alonso wins on a softer compound of tyre. Duck into the slipstream of the McLaren, pull out, and we're going to head down into turn 3. Cautious on the brakes. Bit of wheel banging going on between me and Alonso there, but we are now up into 11th place. Button and Perez are battling quite ridiculously there for 8th position, and Button appears to have finally got through on the Force India driver. And Kvyat now is just going to sit behind Sergio Perez. You've got to think next one lying in wait as Button now looks to pull away. Kvyat is on the soft tyres like us, so you would assume he's on a very similar strategy. Verstappen's built a ridiculous lead already due to the first corner incidents. And Perez is definitely carrying damage. You can see he's just really slow in the high-speed corners. As we come out the final corner, we get a brilliant exit up behind Danny Kvyat. DRS now being enabled. We get DRS out of turn 2, so we're going to fly past Kvyat into turn 1, and now we're going to sit behind the Force India of Sergio Perez as we go up towards turn 2, up the hill, so the slipstream is going to have a bigger effect. Here we go, pull past him, up into 9th position, and we're going to slot him behind Jenson Button. Perez has a little look around the outside, but he's locked up. He's made a mistake into the corner there, and we're now finally through up into 9th place. That all filtered through quite nicely. We spent the next few laps just charging down Jenson Button. That's why there's such a big cut now to lap 7. We're up, he's in 3rd, I'm in 4th. All we were doing was chasing down the McLaren driver, trying to see if we can overtake him, but mistakes were starting to creep in as I was trying to chase him down. Kvyat is still behind us there. And you can see on lap 7 we're fairly close to him, but we went deep into the corner and we're now going to come through. Look, you can just see how much we gain under braking compared to him, but then again we are braking very, very late as we make a huge mistake there, and we go over the curbs and over the grass. And Button's now going to pull out a bit of a lead on us now. So we're now lap 9. Button's still ahead of us in 3rd position. There's a yellow flag just up ahead of us, so don't know what that's quite for as of yet. No notes of a retirement. Looks as if Kimi Räikkönen is in our mirrors here. And he's going to be looking to make a move on this. He's probably going to get DRS off this next straight. There's the yellow flag. There's a car moving slowly up ahead. Nico Hülkenberg moving slowly, so we get elevated up into 3rd position. Button's now up into 2nd in that McLaren, you know, reminiscing of the actual 2016 Austrian Grand Prix where he was on the front row and then just got absolutely mullered. Raikkonen now going to look to dive on down the inside of us into the left-hander. It was a good move from Raikkonen. It has to be expected. He's in a much faster car on much fresher tyres. He's just got far more grip. You're going to see it here on the onboard. It was just ridiculous the amount of grip he had on that tighter line to then just floor the accelerator and pull ahead of us. Hopefully, I'm eyeing up a Ferrari seat, if I'm honest. If I can get there, that would be ideal. But Raikkonen immediately on the back of Button, whose super soft tyres are probably going to be shredded to bits at this point. I remember how fast they wore out last year. Raikkonen now pulls out from behind the McLaren going on to lap 10. Button tries to fight, but you've got a Honda engine, Button. You just give up. It's going to be easier to just give up there. But he's had a bad run out the corner as Raikkonen now pulls ahead. Just realised the yellow flag's going around the circuit, so Hülkenberg is clearly still just trying to get back to the pits. You would assume puncture. I didn't get a replay of what happened to him. But now we're right behind Jensen, whose pace has dropped off completely. Have we got a good enough run out of that corner? I don't think it's going to matter because Button's got a bit of slipstream and DRS, so he's going to be able to protect himself going into the 3rd corner. And we close up under braking, but we can't do anything about it. Button parking his car exactly where you'd expect the veteran to put it. As we now come through, can we maybe make a look into this left-hander? No, but Button is moving slowly. We've got a better run out of the exit, though. More traction, and we're going to send one down the inside of this left-hander, up into 3rd place, past the McLaren. And this is, that was us. This is now a lap or so later, as we are, of course, carrying on our soft tyres. Car's going 3 wide into turn 1. A Renault, a Force India, and the Williams is round of Massa, that looks like. Let's get another replay of that there. So the midfield scrapping appears to be quite heavy around here. And, you know, incidents into turn 1s, they go 3 wide. Massa just didn't have a lot of room, and he's managed to get himself around. He took too much curb. Let's look at it from Rio Haryanto's perspective here. Don't know what the AI or these drivers are like going into turn 1, but 3 into 1 apparently did not go, and Massa's gone round. Then he's just been clouted by the Manor. Those guys still wouldn't have stopped yet because they're on the same soft tyre strategy as ourselves. We're having issues now on our tyres. They're wearing out. Vettel now looks to go through. He's already pitted once from ultra softs to soft compound tyres. He squeezed himself on the inside. I try and fancy a look around the outside. Nothing doing there though, and he actually pushed me out wide, and it's cost me time actually having a little play with Vettel, trying to, you know, act like the big dog on campus as it were. But Vettel was just breezed past us in his Ferrari, much faster, much fresher tyres. Didn't really know what to expect outside of just losing time, really. But alas, it's lap 13. We are pushing on as much as we can. I mean, our lap times are still close to our best. We did a 12.3 that time around. Our best is an 11.9. We're not doing ourselves any favours into turn 1, though. We keep running off onto that runoff area. And we just need to push out these laps as much as we can. I was informed that the pit box was open on this lap, as Danny Kvyat looks to have a little go at us down the inside if he can. He's done exactly what I did, though. Earlier in the Grand Prix, pinched himself on the apex, not got as good a run. Then again, he's done alright for himself, and he's going to have DRS, so we have to move to the inside line, protect ourselves into turn 3 break just after 100 metres. Danny Kvyat's still there. Oh, we've made contact. We've slid more into the corner. Kvyat's still there on our inside as we go up to the fast left-hander of turn 4. We switch it up to the inside. Kvyat leaves us the room, doesn't quite turn in. Tyres about as worn for each other, so even Stevens on the exit, Brave on the brakes. Into the fast left-hander. He's still there on our outside. Can we force him through? Are we going to go 3 wide? There's a Renault of Magnussen who has just powered past us. Kvyat gets squeezed through. Lifts off the throttle. Magnussen was too slow. Magnussen's on our inside. Contact! Magnussen spun it round. Yellow flag as we went into the final corner. Let's look at this from Magnussen's perspective. So he's pinched himself on the apex. That's why we were able to get through. He had a look. He was very brave on his move down the inside. I'm going to be honest, I just didn't expect it. That was not a move I was expecting into the final corner. Not really an overtaking zone. If we can just see it again. The way his car just lunged forward and I mean, pinched on the apex. He's gone. I don't know if he's got any damage, and it definitely wasn't my incentive to take him out. But his car just went forward, and he's got up on the curb and hit us there. I will hold my hands up and say that's my fault. I didn't see him. I genuinely just did not see the guy. But now we're on lap 15, and the tyres are now screaming at this point. Rosberg is going to come steaming through on the inside. And he's forced us quite a ways out there. So I think this is the difference on our car, not really being that competitive and being worn out on tyres. But we need to just keep going. I think we are going to be coming into the pits at the end of this lap, lap 17, which is the longest we could have taken these tyres. They were starting to feel pretty horrible as we now come in to the pits for our first of what I believe to be 2 pit stops in this Grand Prix. So we pit from 5th. There's quite a few big gaps in the midfield. Grosjean going to be looking to go 1 more lap because he's on a similar strategy to ourselves. We're going to fit the super soft tyre and then stretch that as far as we can and then go to ultra softs if we can. Just realised that was a 2-second stop from the Haas boys. They definitely earned their paycheck there. Kvyat just comes out ahead of us, but we're ahead of Button. So I don't know what happened with Button. We're now out ahead of him. Danny Kvyat is who we were fighting with, and he's just up the road from us. So, you know, stretching, because I think he was a couple of laps, like he pitted a few laps before us, so he got that undercut, which is to be expected, but now we're going to be on the fresher tyres, and we were saving fuel in the death of that stint, because, I mean, we weren't going to be making up any time on the overcut. So now, 7 laps later, we've done nothing but push, and push, and push, and we're finally in DRS range of Danny Kvyat, as some of the cars ahead of us look to pit. We've done a best lap of a 10.4, that was my best lap of the weekend, outside of qualifying, you know, but I felt it was impressive for the race. In the slipstream and Danny Kvyat as we head up towards turn 2. Jeff's trying to talk to me to offer me an alternate strategy. I don't really care, Jeff, if I'm honest. I want to fight Danny Kvyat and get past him. Can we look to do it? We haven't got the drive that I wanted out of turn 2. And we've got DRS, but this is the problem. We weren't quite getting the drive out of there. All weekend we were losing time, and it was meaning that we couldn't look to get a position into turn 3. And now lap 26. Kvyat, interestingly enough, pulling in. So he's making his pit stop this lap. So he made up a lot of time. I made a mistake on lap 26, which I didn't actually show. I was meaning to, but I sort of at turn 3, I just did what I did earlier in the race, just brake too late and slid wide. So we're now up into 5th place. Hamilton now charging behind us. He has had, I don't know what happened to his Grand Prix, but after he had his front wing taken off, he was a man on a mission. And I mean, these super soft tyres are not performing very well at the end of this race. So much so, Hamilton is now right behind us, and I think we're just going to let him through because he is charging through the field. He went onto a set of soft tyres at the start, and now he's on a set of super softs. He did go wide though at the exit of turn 1, and we're going to take the opportunity. We need to show that we are willing to fight. If we just roll over, you know, what big team wants a guy that's just going to roll over and move out of the way? Then again, Hamilton now going to charge it down the inside of turn 2, switch back line if we can, but no, the drive, just once again. Traction on the line we're taking, not good enough. Hamilton with DRS, and he's going to get ahead of us. So then we set it with Jeff. We're going to come in, and we're going to fit ultra soft tyres for the final segment of the race. I don't know if they'll make it. I've sort of done this just in the vague hope of trying to protect my position, or try and fight for an additional place if I can, and worry about the wear of my tyres later. Because ultra softs here are basically a quali tyre. Like if you do qualifying, your ultra softs are only going to last up to about sort of lap 4, lap 5, and I'm expecting to do 7 on them. 2.4 from the Haas boys. Verstappen has now lapped us, which usually doesn't happen that much, but it's Austria, and I'd fully expect it to happen. Kvyat's ahead of us. There goes Magnussen now. So Magnussen up into 10th. We're still in a points-paying position. Sorry, we're not in a points-paying position. Magnussen's in the points-paying position, so that's who we need to try and catch up to. Kvyat is still just up the road. He's the undercut more effective this time, so I can't actually see him. He's ahead of sort of Verstappen on circuit, so he's probably heading down towards turn 3 now. As we open up DRS, can we look to make a move? No, we're too far back from Magnussen, but we are on fresh ultra soft tyres, so you've got to expect the move is coming. Teammate is in the pits, lap 29. DRS. We're going to gain a few positions. Grosjean's in the pits. We're up to 10th. We're now up to 9th. So we're now in the pits, and I don't know what's happened into turn 1. There's a VSC I think I saw a note of Perez being at the Grand Prix that I completely missed while sort of trying to analyse everything else. So, no, here's what okay, so Perez has blown up, and then Kvyat has had a... Well, Danny Kvyat has done exactly what he didn't want to do. He's hit a Red Bull, and, he's down in Toro Rosso due to the fact that he hit... Or that, in Red Bull he wasn't performing, and he hit Vettel, who used to be their star guy. Alas... Green flag racing now. Magnussen appears to have been caught napping a little bit on the restart. Can we look to force one down the inside of the fast right-hander? Yes, we can. We go into the corner where me and Magnussen had our little incident. Hopefully, we're not going to see a repeat of that, but we're now up into 7th place. That's 6 World Championship points. Is it 6? It's 5 or 6. I can't remember how many it is for 7th. But Magnussen goes through. We're going to make a switchback through turn 1. He compromised his exit at the cost of faster entry speed. That's not what you want to be doing. You want to be fast out the corner, set yourself up for the next straight. Magnussen is in our slipstream now as we break at the 100-metre board because it is uphill. Magnussen's pinched himself on the apex. He's not going to get a good run out of the corner. And we are now solidified in 7th place. But Magnussen is not going to let this go. He's probably quite incensed at us due to what happened earlier on in the Grand Prix. But we just need to protect ourselves, protect our line and protect this position. Lap 32 now. As we're coming through, Alonso is just driven off down the road. He's not going to be caught. Kimi Raikkonen's out of the Grand Prix. Not too sure how that's happened. There's Manners scrapping away though, but he's all on his own. Is it a Ferrari engine failure? Yes, indeed it is. So that 2016 power unit has let go on Kimi Raikkonen. That doesn't fill me with a lot of hope because I am running a 2016 power unit. That being said, Magnussen is now going to have another look into turn 1 if he can. DRS wide open. He's done exactly the same thing. Pinched himself on the apex. Compromised his exit. We do the switchback line once again. We've got more guys closing us down though. There's Palmer. And we're going to gain a position. I've just realised we're going to gain a position from Raikkonen, who is out of the Grand Prix. So we're going to be elevated up into 6th place. And that's 8 World Championship points. So... This position, which was originally looking like a battle for 10th with Magnussen, is now a battle for 6th. Here we go, lap 34. Magnussen's on the outside this time. He's got a much better run out of the final corner. We're not going to be able to get that switchback through turn 1. So now we need to hope and pray that our exit is good enough. We're going to sit in the slipstream. We've lost a lot of time here. Palmer's going to be having a look at us. Can we gain anything in the slipstream with Magnussen? This is going to come from a long way back. Oh, don't tell me. Oh, that could have ended in tears. It's... Oh my, that. I forgot about that move. I'm figuring I must have left this in for a reason. Oh my god, that was stupid. That could have ended in tears. Thankfully, Magnussen, an experienced, good driver, was there to see it possibly coming. And he left me just enough room. There was a bit of contact though. Thankfully, I don't think we damaged our car. But Palmer's managed to get through on him. And look at this now. Look at this train of cars behind me. I've got both Renaults. I've got my teammate. I've got Button and Carlos Sainz. As Julian Palmer looks to make a move around the outside of turn 3. My exit's compromised by going on the grass. Palmer's now hit me up the back. This is the last lap of the race because we have been lapped. Contact with Palmer's meant I've gone wide. Contact with Magnussen on the inside. This has just turned into a dirty scrap for 6th position. But I think we might have just got it. Max Verstappen wins the Austrian Grand Prix. And I think, penultimate corner, we come up to the final corner and we're just going to come across the line. It's been a dirty scrap, but it's resulted in 6th place. Well. Lap down. Fernando Alonso, a minute 3 off the pace. Fernando Alonso, last year's winner, of course. Max Verstappen wins the race again after Daniel Ricciardo doesn't score. I'm fairly confident that gives the lead of the Drivers' Championship to Max Verstappen. Indeed it does. Hamilton not far behind either after, rectifying his race somehow. We jump up to 5th. Haas sitting in 4th, 82 points because Grosjean got points. Grosjean, my boy, came through and managed to get World Championship points. I think it was 9th, but still, it's 2 points. You know, I'll take it. Austria turned up a race that I was kind of expecting. I mean, what happened at the start was pretty mental, and I'm glad to see... It's a bit weird to say. I'm glad to see incidents happening at the start with the AI, because sometimes in F1 it can happen, and it can happen to your front-running guys. And Danny Rick he scored 125 points in 5 races, and then in the next 4 races he has scored 8 points and lost the lead of the Drivers' Championship. But we were a huge benefactor. We climbed from 17th to 6th. We might have pulled off some risky moves, and probably, I mean, that move at that move there was Rosberg-esque, I would say, in trying to protect my position. But guys, thank you very much for watching. Leave a like if you have enjoyed, and comment any feedback down below. Subscribe and enable notifications to be informed of the content when it comes to the channel. We're coming up to the halfway point of this season. It's my home race next. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you are as well. I will see you all next time.